So I've been super hyped for Ruffy and the Riverside ever since playing the demo here on this very channel earlier this year. I loved the demo. I was like immediately it became one of my most anticipated games of 2025. Y'all know if you've been watching my channel for a while, I'm a huge 3D platformer guy, and I came away super impressed. And I was very happy, thanks to the fine folks at Pirate PR, to be able to cover the full game on Nintendo Switch. I've actually been playing it on my Nintendo Switch 2 specifically, and be able to cover the game with the full release. It is out now at the time you guys are watching this video, and I have some thoughts. Again, the game's out now. I've got a purchase link in the video description if you're interested, and we're going to take a look at how the game is running on Nintendo Switch, specifically Nintendo Switch 2, although it is like the Switch 1 version of the game. We're going to talk about that. We're going to show off the game, play a little bit of it, and kind of go over some of my thoughts. So let's take a look. And here we are in Riverside. Here's our boy. Here's our little guy. Look at him. Look at Ruffy. I really like Ruffy a lot, you guys. I like his design, just this cute little bear guy. He's always perpetually got this like giant smile on his face. He's a good guy. I like him a lot. I like that his little idle animation, he's always kind of got to keep those hands loose, you know? And I like that if you turn the camera, he kind of follows you, you know? Really, really good and cute. Anyway, so I want to say a few things here right off the bat, too. I'm still, like, kind of in the middle of my playthrough of this. I'm probably, like, 6 or 7 hours into this thing, I think. My Switch 2 just says 5 hours or more, so I'm probably somewhere in that ballpark. I've done, you know, a few... So, like, the kind of story setup of the game, in fact, let me run up here so I can show you guys. Here in Riverside, there's an evil entity named, I think his name's Groll, or its name is Groll, and it is threatening the world core of the world, and in order to heal the world core, you have to restore this Riverside sign, which I don't know if we actually can get, like, a great shot. It's kind of like the Hollywood sign. It spells Riverside, and to do that, you are sent to different corners of the world to essentially collect these letters. And yeah, and you're trying to get this sign kind of repaired, which will heal the world core and allow you to, like, stop Groll, I guess. So that's more or less, like, the story setup of the game. And, you know, the game actually has this big, open, connected world that kind of spokes off into other kind of, like, more condensed areas and biomes. It's a little Banjo-Tooie-ish in that way, and for me personally, especially playing the demo of this game, the demo is like a vertical slice, right? And so it kind of has you going to these kind of like little individual areas and levels, and I think that, you know, one thing I want to do in this video is kind of like set expectations for new players, because if you played the demo and you thought this game was going to be like kind of level based, it is and it's not. Like, this is more of a Banjo-Tooie kind of scheme where, you know, it's much more open and connected than you might be expecting, I think. So maybe come in with that expectation and kind of know what you're getting into here. But yeah, I've collected a couple of the letters already. In fact, I think I can see it on the pause menu too. Yeah. So you can see the letters I've collected, and one thing that is kind of nice is that each letter, if you collect, like, if the word has like a multiple, like I've collected an R and an E, so the R and the E are filled in both instances, right? So there's still going to be an I, a V, an S, and a D to collect. So I'm probably like a little less than halfway through the game by that logic. I found a bunch of the collectibles and stuff like this. I don't know if we're going to actually do like a story section. I'm probably just kind of going to mess around in the open world and kind of show you the game, I think. I think another big question a lot of people probably have is, how does this game run on Nintendo Switch? A bit of a mixed bag on Nintendo Switch, if I'm being honest with you. It did just get a big, like, day one patch, which I guess has added some significant stuff to the game. I haven't encountered anything that seemed super different to me yet, but I saw... I think the developer's name is Socrates Labs or something, or Socrates maybe. I saw them talking on Blue Sky that, like, they were adding more stuff to potentially spend currency on, so that could be a thing. But I don't know if you guys can kind of tell Oh, we're gonna have to go and I'll show you what this door is in a second. I don't know if you guys can kind of tell. The game does hitch up sometimes. Like, the moment-to-moment running around feels pretty good. And when you're in like a sort of fully loaded area like this, a Herbie fully loaded area like this, it runs just fine. Like, the kind of moment-to-moment feels good and runs fine. But then when you get into areas that are a little bit more busy, you'll notice the frame's kind of hitching up as it's kind of loading in like kind of the next zone. And then we'll go to like the big kind of open zone here, and you'll see the world kind of popping in, you know. And in fact, it was kind of disorienting when you first start the game. Like, Edler, one of the characters, is right here, and he like pops out of the ground, and it's shifting the camera perspective between like Edler here and Ruffy here, and like every time it goes back to Edler, it's like reloading the world and stuff. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. You know, you can tell the game had to make a lot of sacrifices to run well on Switch. It also, like, there's a lot of like options to get around the world really quickly, and so the game kind of, you know, compensates for that too. So I almost like it's a pretty ambitious game, right? There's a lot going on. But it is kind of fun that you can like get around the world like this. You can get on a big old bale of hay at a certain point, or a bale of straw, I guess, and kind of zoom around if you want to. Engage in races and things like this. It's yeah, it's fun. The game has a real N64 kind of vibe to it, just in general, and in a lot of ways. It kind of feels, for better or for worse, like a little lost N64 game with a little bit of ambition that just wouldn't have been possible. To that end, let me actually show you this. This is a fun little Easter egg door that some of y'all might appreciate. If you turn these blue candles red, it'll open this door, and you can see a little, like, Banjo was here, graffiti, Paper M, Tome B, which I assume this is like a Tomba reference. Tom B, Tomba. I think that's what that's a reference to. And to be honest, that kind of is a really good summation of what this game is. Like, if you took Banjo-Tooie and you put it in a blender with Paper Mario and Tomba, that pretty much is what Ruffy and the Riverside is. So it's a neat game, and I like it. For those who maybe didn't watch my original demo video and have no clue what Ruffy and the Riverside is, or like what the sort of big like gameplay hook of it is, Ruffy, this little bear guy, has the ability to swap. In fact, I think I can see a good thing we can use this on here. So I can hit R, the R button, and that will allow me to pull a texture from something in the world. So I'm going to pull this stone texture here, and I can essentially swap it with a texture of something else. So like the wood texture of this tree, I'm going to turn this tree into stone, because it looks like something might be hiding in there. And there you go. We found one of these little Itoi guys, or Itoi maybe. And yeah, they're like tree spirits, and they kind of hide out in the trees. And that is the big sort of like gameplay hook of Ruffy and the Riverside. And another thing, you know, speaking of like setting expectations for people maybe watching this video, you know, coming into this game, I was sort of expecting it to be like a more traditional 3D platformer than it is. The game is actually kind of a puzzle game, to be honest. Like, you know, you engage with the game through 3D platforming, you know, by jumping around. Like, Ruffy can jump. He has like a butt stomp, you know, classic butt stomp. You can sprint if you hit L. You have a basic attack, kind of a button mashy attack. You can punch people. You can press and hold the attack button to do like a spin attack. So you have that. You do have like health. There's like combat and danger, you know, not like a ton of it, but it is a factor. You can hover in the air. Your little bee friend Pip can kind of give you a hover. You have a little stamina meter there. The stamina meter actually will refill if you collect coins, so that's kind of neat too. And yeah, I think that's pretty much Ruffy's like basic movement kit. It's nothing too crazy. You do unlock like some more stuff that you can use kind of in the world, like you saw me rolling on that bale of hay. I do not have that at the start of the game. That is something I unlocked. But by and large, like you kind of, you know, find these applications for Ruffy's abilities just kind of in the world, and you use them to solve puzzles versus taking on like platforming challenge, you know? And I think that some people might be kind of disappointed. So for example, I'm going to wait for this to rise up, and then I'm going to turn that to ice. So that's now like an ice platform that I can use, and if I can do this without it running out on me, we'll turn that into an ice platform, and now we can like jump up here, right? And what's this? That is a little hint as to how to solve a puzzle that I imagine has to relate to this. There are these little like almost shrines that you'll see, and you always need to look out for these like little, you know, pieces of like, I don't know, graffiti or painting on the wall, and it kind of gives you a hint as to how to solve the puzzle here. So I'll show you what I mean. I guess I probably have to thaw this out first, huh? It's frozen after all. It looks like I need access to lava in order to do that. Where do I get lava? Let me see if I can find some lava. My kingdom for some lava. Okay, here we go. Grab that. See if I can run back here with it fast enough. I think we're gonna pull it off. And see, we turned the water into lava. It was crazy. All right. Don't worry, it'll turn back after a certain amount of time. It will turn back. But if you remember how we see that little painting up there with all the dots? What we gotta do is we gotta take that dot, and this is actually a really easy one, so I guess I don't feel too bad about showing you the solution to this. And we just replicate that little painting, and now we've solved that shrine. There you go. Now there'll be a little collectible. I think these are like called dream stones or something. You bring him back to a little pixelated Ruffy, and he tells you he tells you that something good's gonna happen when you find them all. So there you go. Let's see. Oh, speaking of the pixelated Ruffy, there actually is kind of a neat thing. Let me hang on a second. Let me go over here. Kind of a cool thing you can do in the game. So, the Pixel Ruffy guy, I forget the character's name, but he's like a painter, and he gives you the ability to go into the menu here, and you can actually paint like the textures almost in the game. So, like, I can change the water texture if I want. I can change the sand texture if I want. But let's change the waterfall texture, I guess. Like, if I wanted to, I could make a pink waterfall. We could make like, you know, like a Ruffy says trans rights waterfall if we wanted to. Actually, I kind of liked it better, and it was just the top layer. You know, we can do that. Like that is something that we can do. Oh, I don't know if it's saved or not. Okay. I think it should. Did I do it? Did I do it right? I don't know if it's saving or not. Okay, let's try it. There we go. Yep. See? It changes like the whole texture of the thing. And if I don't like it, I can just hit reset and it's completely fine. And we're back to a normal waterfall. Kind of neat. I don't know if it's not the kind of thing that I like necessarily would engage with, but it's neat that like the player gets a little bit of like extra, you know, customization, right? Like it's kind of neat that you can play with that if you want to. Lots of stuff to do in the game. If I had a, you know, a complaint, or maybe it's a nitpick or something, I don't know. One thing I have kind of noticed is that they do kind of reuse a lot of like puzzle solutions, not the solutions themselves, but the way that you solve a lot of the puzzles in the game are repeated you know, which can get a little bit like tedious after time. Like I said, I'm maybe like 7 hours in, and I've already seen like quite a lot of repeated like solution types. And then sometimes the puzzles have been like a little obtuse in a couple of areas too, where I'm like, oh really, like that seems kind of crazy, you know. But still, it's neat. Like they make good use out of this central, you know, kind of gimmick or idea, this swap mechanic. It's a really neat idea, and the game feels like it had a ton of ambition from the outset. Like, the game feels like they, you know, they wanted to make this thing, like, bigger than the sum of its parts. Maybe to mixed results, I don't know. Let's see if we can figure this out. This looks crazy. Can we figure out what's up with this? It seems like, and I've solved the puzzle like this before, if we can maybe get this wood texture and make, like, this bottom one wood, maybe we can create, like, a bit of a platform for us to, maybe we can kind of pull this off here. So that'll make that, like, one stepping stone. Okay, in theory, I think that if I can manage to turn this into lava now, I think it'll burn that stuff away and create kind of like a platform for me. I think. I could be wrong about that. We'll try it. The real question, though, is where am I going to get some lava? Where am I going to get some fire that's, like, quick enough? I guess maybe if I jump on the straw bale here, maybe I can get to and from some lava quickly. Is there some up here? Why do I feel like there was some up here? No. The music's also great. Like, the vibes are really good. I like this song. This is kind of like the main theme. Oh, right. This is still active. Can I grab this, hop on this, and rush over there? Will I make it in time? No, but what if I do this? There's a jerk shark in there anyway that needs to get burned. Hell yeah. Oh, but it didn't stick. It didn't want us to burn all the fishes, I guess. Okay, hang on. Please hold. We can figure this out. You see, like, it's a genuinely neat idea. But like, it does kind of feel like, you know, if like an N64 game had this idea. Oh god, I lost it. Like, it feels like it is held back by its own scope, and also it was maybe a little over-scoped at the same time, you know what I mean? I almost wonder, like, if a lot of these kind of issues could have been not resolved, but at least, like, lessened, if like, the game was scaled back a little bit. But I also understand, like, the desire probably for the development team. Oh, it reset all of that stuff. The desire that the development team probably had to make this a little bit bigger so it stands out more. But, like, for me personally, I almost would have preferred it if this game was a little bit more of, like, a condensed, you know, level-based thing. I honestly, I think I would have preferred that on a personal level. It's still very cool, though. I like it a lot. Okay, let's grab this. Let's see if this works. I have no guarantee of this working. Okay. And so in theory, I think, can't I kind of do this? Yeah. See, the game's neat. Like, that's a genuinely neat thing. Alright. So now we have a little boost pad. I don't really know what we would do with that. Although it looks like there's a sign up here for maybe a race. Let's do that. Let's... Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay. Let's see. Welcome to the Five Fellas. Welcome to the only race where cheating is allowed. The $5 are just way too fast for you kids. Let's talk about the cheating right away. There are 5 turbo boosters along the racetrack. Find the hidden switches, activate boosters, and register for the... Okay, so there's 5 of them. Okay, we're not ready yet then. We've only activated 1. Oh god, apparently never mind. I think I accidentally said yes. So I guess we'll try it. It's not gonna work out for us, but I guess we'll try. I'm assuming the booster, like, I'm assuming it'll be at least nearby where these things are, maybe? Oh god, oh god, oh god. Yeah, this was doomed to fail from the start. This is like a little side quest here, right? There's a ton of little side quests like this in the game. Like a ton of them. Yeah, okay. I do like that they're encouraging cheating. That's pretty fun. Yeah, a ton of stuff to find. One thing that's also a little annoying that I've encountered is that sometimes you'll like find quest or side quest stuff like before you have the quest, and so like it either doesn't work properly yet, or like for example, there was an area that I found earlier. Let's collect this butterfly here. This is one of the collectibles. There's a little guy in town who collects these butterflies. You gotta bring them back. I don't know what you get for finding them all, but I've actually found a pretty good bit of them so far. So, yeah, see that book? I found a pretty good bit of them. Lot of little things to collect and little side quests to do. You have a quest log here, you know. So, that's cool. But yeah, like, there was a moment, earlier in the game where they wanted you to find, like, these bottles. Like, but like, I didn't know that areas in the game and like little like things I had already solved would result in a bottle like later, if that makes sense. So I was doing stuff that like I was supposed to do later, but I didn't know that I was supposed to do them later, you know? And so what wound up happening was I had to just redo everything, and that didn't feel great. You know, and there's been some backtracking and stuff, which has been like maybe a little annoying, but you know, like the game has a couple of little kinks and, you know, rough edges to it, I would say, but overall, like, I'm kind of just happy that it exists in this form that it does. Like, it's cool to have a game like this. It's cool to have like a fun, you know, charming sort of like, I don't know, 3D platformer-ish, but really more of like a puzzle adventure game that really does kind of feel like a lost N64 game in a lot of ways. You know, even if I think that maybe it's maybe even a little too ambitious in some ways and maybe not ambitious enough in other ways, and even though the Switch version kind of, you know, can be hit or miss performance-wise, it does sound like the game is getting a Switch 2 version, which will be really cool. I am playing the game on Switch 2 right now. So this is the Switch version of the game running on Switch 2. The Switch 2, the extra, like, power of the Switch 2 doesn't seem to improve the performance really at all. So it sounds like a Switch 2 version, like a native Switch 2 version is coming though, and I'll be interested to see how it runs natively on Switch 2. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video when the Switch 2 version comes out. That would be kind of fun, or maybe we'll do a stream or something. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of, you know, shown off most of what I want to show off, and maybe real quick, actually, before we wrap the video up, maybe I'll just bounce over to some of the biomes real fast and show you, because there actually is a cool amount of like variety in the locations. So, this is like the second or third area you wind up coming to. It's like kind of a little ghost area. You have to go to the farm and steal this bale of hay first. That you know, there's a little bit of a quest to get this unlocked, and then you can grind on the rail to get over here, and then you can climb on this ladder, and now you're in like a little like spooky ghost zone, you know. Oh, and actually, here's another shrine. In fact, hang on, I think I saw I think I saw a symbol for that shrine back here. Didn't I? Didn't I see that? Yeah, here it is. So it's like 3 dots and like line and some curves. This is gonna be actually a little tricky to remember. I'll try to remember it. Let me see. Okay. Whoop. Alright, so let's try this. 3 dots. Okay, then we had, it was a straight line, I think, here. You also got to be careful with some of these, because you don't want to, like, screw yourself, you know? It's very possible to, like, in fact, it's going to reset, I think. Hang on, I need to get another look at this. 3 dots and kind of 2 curvy lines leading up to the 3. Okay. Might actually be best if I do the curvy parts first. Hang on. But it is very possible to like not do this correctly. So let's see. How would you do it? I guess you would probably put this. Would you put this here? And do like maybe a line going up? Like I'm trying to, oh no, 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 that, I needed that dot. Hang on, I need to reset that. Please reset. Okay. Cause I think I'm for sure gonna need this here. And then, I don't think I'm going to need any of that, so I think I'm safe to put the dots here. And then I think I can put this here. Oh wait, no, I needed that. Oh, God. Hang on. Reset. I think I actually needed that line still. Okay, hold up. Let's put that. No, no, no. Can I deselect? Okay, there we go. I want that there. I want... Let me make sure I'm doing everything right. I think this should be okay. 3 dots. Then I want this here. And here. Okay, I think... Is this right? Nope. It could be that I have to... It could be that it wants me to do this up here. And maybe the bottom one actually needs to be flat. That actually might be the solution there. The bottom one maybe needs to be flat, or it might need to be curved. I don't know. Take one more look at it. Yeah, it looks like it maybe needs to be flat. So you're trying to find out how to best like you know, replicate like the look of this thing. Let's try it. Okay, and then let's grab this. Actually, we do need this, so let's put this here. And actually, I think we'll need it there too. Then let's put this here. And then this here. And then this here? Is this the solution? Yep, okay, good. I redeemed myself. Finally solved it. So yeah, you're trying to kind of like figure out how to make that pattern with very like limited tools, right? There you go. Solved the puzzle, got some coins. I can take that back to the little hub if I want to. But yeah, this is kind of an example of like one of the little biomes. Like you had this little ghost town. I had to, you know, help these ghosts solve a little almost like a grave pageant, which was a fun little quest. You know, it's cute. And there's a good bit of variety. There's like a snowy area, beach area, spooky area, you know. Oh, look. It reverted that back. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it's just it's a cool game. It's a neat game. It's available on more stuff than just Switch also, so if you did want to play a version of the game that was like a little bit more performant, you could. Or you could wait for the, you know, the Switch 2 native version, which I presume will have more parity with the other versions of the game. But it's also, I don't want to make it sound like it's unplayable on Switch 1. It's not. It's playable. You know, it's nothing too crazy. It can just be a little distracting. Like, the Switch 1 performance can be a little distracting, to be honest. I don't know why. That's actually funny. I don't know why it, like, reverted this back. Didn't I, like, reset it? Or maybe I didn't. I'll just turn off all drawings in game for now. But it's cool that kind of functionality is in the game. Let's actually, real quick, we'll do this and then we'll wrap up the video because I want to show you guys another kind of funny thing. Go back to the hub real fast. There's kind of like a town hub, and the game, weirdly, never really forces you to go back to it that much. But there actually is some kind of funny, like, and interesting stuff back here. So I would encourage you to spend a little bit of time here. So, for one thing, you can buy a couple of different tunics for Ruffy. So, Ruffy has, like, and you can see it here in my inventory screen. You can swap, you can have your standard green, your red, and your blue tunic. And you can wear whichever one you want. I think the only difference between them is color, at least visually. But you do have, like, I don't know if you can tell, like, I have stats underneath them. And this is kind of a weird, funny little thing. The stats are actually randomized, or rather, they're earned in a random way. So you go to this guy, the Cape Roulette, and you upgrade your capes on a wheel spin, which is really funny. So it costs 100 coins. So I'm gonna get a red cape upgrade. Is going to be an upgrade to my health recovery. And it is going to be +1 to my health recovery. There you go. Extra self-healing for your red cape. So there you go. That's how you upgrade your capes. Just a little weird, you know, like on one hand it's kind of fun, like who doesn't like spinning a roulette? But it is a little strange. Like it's almost like why even put that in the game at all? Like, you know, it would have been kind of more fun to make those upgrades like collectibles or something within levels. I don't know. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It's still kind of a fun, silly little thing. But, you know, a couple of little frustrations aside, a couple of little like Nintendo Switch version performance issues aside, the game is still really cool. And like this gimmick, this swap gimmick is so neat. I hope they get the chance to make another one of these. Because I would like to see them kind of, I don't know, take the lessons learned from this game and make something like really, you know, refined, I guess, like really hone in on what they did here. Because it genuinely is a really cool mechanic. Oh, hang on, I was going to show you something cool, but I'm not close enough. Hang on, please hold. I was going to end the video by doing something so cool, you guys. Just wait. Just wait and you'll see how cool this is. And like it's a neat mechanic because you can do stuff like this. I can make it from day to night. It's cool. Like it's a neat idea, right? And there are different things like the game has taken advantage of this nighttime thing before where you know, I had to do a quest that was at night. You know, it's neat. Like they have got a really cool and solid baseline here that I hope in a future game they can really kind of hone in on. So anyway, I think that's more or less what I wanted to show you with Ruffy and the Riverside. This will give you a good sense of how the game is running on Switch. You know, mixed results there, but there is a Switch 2 version in the works, it sounds like. It sounds like they're also working on a physical version of the game, which is cool. But look, man, if you're looking for if any of this looked good or interesting to you, the game is, I believe, $19.99. You'll get plenty of playtime out of it. I think it's worth your time and attention. It's very neat. I've got a purchase link in the video description. I will also, while this is not like a full review of the game, I will, you know, have final thoughts on the game on my podcast, the KoopaCast, and I'll share my final thoughts on the game after I've finished it over there. So check that out. I got links to all that stuff in the video description as well. Thanks again to Pirate PR and the developers, Socrates Labs, for letting me check it out. This was one of my most anticipated games of the year, and again, I've had some kind of mixed emotions about playing the final thing, a couple little things here and there, but overall, I really enjoy it, and I find it to be an easy recommend. And now I'm just sitting here, I'm like wrapping up the video, and I'm just sitting here scanning, trying to see where the hell the painting for this one is. Subtly, I'm like, after I wrap up the video, I want to do this shrine real quick. But anyway, this has been a look at Ruffy and the Riverside for Nintendo Switch, running on Nintendo Switch 2. I've been Seth, and we'll see you in the next one.